Hello and welcome. We are going to do a mod review today. We are going to take a look at these two mods here, Big Bud and Big Bud. Now, the reason we're taking a look at the two Big Bud mods is because, quite frankly, a hot topic around farming sim is, of course, the Big Bud DLC. Which is definitely kind of catered towards the console users. PC users obviously can basically install mods now quite easily, and in fact you can get two Big Bud mods. Now, I actually did a review, and I've actually sort of canned that because I did a review yesterday of this Big Bud mod that I've got highlighted. And then I was kind of looking around a little bit later on in the day, and I discovered a second Big Bud mod that looked remarkably similar. So I thought, how about let's side by side them. I found with this particular mod there were some weird quirks with it, so I thought, well, let's check them both out and do them side by side. So let's do that. So we've got a Goldcrest Valley map here. With a bit of money. Let's go in and take a look at these two mods. Check them out, see what's different. So while this loads, let's just take a look at the errors. Doesn't appear to be any errors on the load of those two homes. There is one on my Land Rover, but we can kind of forget that. So let's head to the shop because that's where they're going to spawn. And here we are. What we're going to do is just move a little bit away so we think. So one of the things, so what we're going to do is we're going to compare these two tractors, and we're also going to compare against one of the stock tractors. And the closest I think in stock tractors is this Challenger 900 in terms of size, power, and we're just going to grab the basic 955E. We're going to grab one with 3 wheels because it gives us a good idea of the width and so on when we compare with the Big Bud. And so we're going to grab one of those. This is just as a reference point. And then we're going to look at the two. So this mod here that I've just highlighted is the Big Bud that I originally kind of reviewed and then basically found the other one. So this is the newer one that I found. I think they're actually the same age, or this one actually might be older. I'm not sure, but essentially they're the same tractor. So let's kind of look at the stats on the two, because there are differences. So firstly, let's look at this one. It costs you £621 or euros or dollars per day to run this tractor. It is a 331 kilowatt or 450 HP tractor. Has 1,000 litres of fuel, top speed of 20 miles an hour. And it will cost you £349,000, dollars or euros. The second Big Bud is £21 per day. Same power, 331, 450 HP. It is 1,000 litres of fuel, but it's got a top speed of 25 miles an hour and a price of $249,000. So let's take a look at this guy first, the cheaper one, and see what the options are. So we have standard wheel option, so we'll grab one of those and we're just going to change the colour so we can tell them apart. So standard wheel option, we have a twin wheel option, grab one of those. We have a triple wheel option, and that's it. So we've got 3 versions of this. Let's take a look at the other one. We have a standard wheel option, We have a wheel weights option. We have a twin wheel option. I'm picking random colours here, there's no method to my madness. We have a triple wheel option. And that's it. So those are the options of this tractor. So they all are lined up in a row. We have our Challenger at the far right, and then we have our Big Buds from the first mod pack, and then we have our Big Buds from the second mod pack. Now, something that we discovered with our first mod is there is a clipping thing goes on. And when they spawned in last time, it actually was apparent, but it isn't so much here. So this is our reference point tractor. As you can see, when you look at this compared to the Big Bud next to it, it is bigger. These are all the same size, obviously, and these two are well, they're they are the same size. The model is generally the same. There's just some differences in the equipment. So let's take a look around the actual tractor itself. So these are TK-450 Big Bud. This is our single wheel option variant. This is from the first version of this. So let's just get into it. So this is a very clean vehicle. It's very bright white. We have the very dark black matte smokestack. There's no kind of real kind of character to that. It just looks like it's stuck on. We've got a very white not sure, like air intake. We've got chrome work on the back. We have an engine that moves, and we can see the fan. We can see the engine moving parts. Not all the moving parts on that engine, I think. Just the fan, and we've got a moving part and sort of air conditioning unit on the back. So we've got chrome lights. We've got beacons. So let's drop the beacons on. There we go. We can see the beacons. Engine is running. The engine plume is good. Let's fire up some lights. Front lights normal. Rear lights, ooh, those are very bright. And then we've got the extra front lights on as well. So those are the things. We're not in night time, so you can't really get the full benefit of those, but those are very bright lights. Okay, and you see, compare that from above as well with the Challenger. The Challenger is bigger and it's more powerful. So this is a more powerful tractor. So this is really just a showy tractor. It's not actually any more powerful than a stock tractor. The one thing I did notice about this, the tail of this does have this chrome work here. Obviously suffers from the chrome work problem that I hate, is that the reflection is not actually the reflection it should be. But this is the countryside, and that's a building. Should be the building. We've got a very sort of matte black stuck-on hitch on the back here for farm equipment, and this it's just a kind of a matte, almost like it's bolted on. There's no rendering done on that at all. Some of the elements of this look like there's been no render of it to give it character. So the exhaust, for instance, and a bit of the engine doesn't look like it's actually kind of got any character. If you look at the exhaust stack on the Challenger, you've kind of got a shine to it that kind of makes it look like it's part of the tractor. With this one, it looks like it's just stuck on. So that's the same with those. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to drop into that just yet. I'm going to look at these. So this is the other mod version. This again is a TK-450. The engine looks a lot more impressive. inside there. You kind of looks a little bit more real. With this one, it kind of just looks like a black blob in the middle. That one actually looks like an engine. The cab and everything else has kind of got a dirty look to it, like a kind of a road dirty, smoke dirty look. They all do. As you can see, there's different variants of this one as well. We've got one with wheel weights on there. This has got an extra set of lights in the front with those kind of orange lights here at the bottom. These don't have that. Slightly darker around these lights here. There's slightly darker. There's no chrome work on this one actually. Yeah, there's no chrome work. But so if you look there, there's no chrome. That's just a painted white tank. We've got the cabs. We'll have a look in the cabs in a minute. This does have a hitch. This hitch looks like it's been taken straight from that Challenger actually. And I actually like this hitch a little bit better than this. This actually looks real, but there's a hitch. See, kind of more realistic looking hitch. Not the same as the Challenger, but it's definitely better looking. You know, whereas this is just kind of looks like it's not rendered. This has been rendered and essentially textured and everything else. So definitely looks better from the back, and so on. So something I noticed, and we actually do clip through these, although when I tested it last night, it didn't do it. So we will actually cover this in a minute, but let's take a look inside the cabs. So let's start with this one, and we'll get inside one of the cabs. So I say when you're inside, it's running. It's this one's got lights, more lights on it. But let's take a look inside the cab. So inside the cab, we have this sort of big bud decor, kind of a big steering wheel, lots of dials, all analog, few buttons. We've got the logo everywhere. We've got various levers. We've got screwdrivers stuck in the back there. We've got our seats. We can look at the back. We've got a packet of cigarettes. We've got a can of Coke and a little ruler there. We've got a cooler down the side there and a tool chest in the back, and a radio at the top. That's we've got our CB. And yeah, that's kind of the cab. We've got our farm, sort of the grimy equipment there, telling us what's what. I guess all the dials work. Well, the RPM and the MPH one does. The fuel dial doesn't. It's at 0. So we've got no fuel. Wipers. This is an IC enabled cab, so you can't press on things as well. Let's get out of this and get into the other. So we haven't looked inside this one. So when this is up and running, the engines work. You've got fans going. You can see there's kind of an air conditioning unit, and then we've got the engine. The smokestack, although it's not as fat, it looks better. It really does look better. Let's take a look inside the cab. So the cab here is not as kind of blah in your face as the other one. This is a very simple cab. We've got a simple steering wheel and steering column. We've got the same sort of dials. Now I can't see if they're working. They're not working dials. We've got the radio. We've got the CB. Instead, we still have the packet of cigarettes, but we don't have the can of Coke. We've got a couple of pieces of equipment here, the grimy and whatever else that is next to it. We've got some buttons. We've got our cooler. The can of Coke's on the floor. and the tool share test is in the back. So there is some subtle differences inside the cab as well. Inside the cab here, it's a little bit more sedate, less in your face than the other. The other major difference in the outside is, to say, there's no chrome work on this one, but there's a black bonnet element here, and everything else. I'm just going to honk the horns because basically, why not? There you go. You can hear what the horn sounds like. This is a very different look to this. It is the same, ultimately the same tractor. It's just as if it's kind of a little bit more modest than the other. It has an element of modesty. Let's hit the lights. We've only got one set here at the front. We've got some at the back. We've got them at high beams, but we don't have an extra set on the top of the cab, so it's not as bright. We don't have those kind of front bumper lights as well. So this is definitely a little bit more modest, and I kind of like this one a little bit more than the other. So I wanted to check out. So one of the things that when I did the initial review of this one before I even canned it, I compared it against the Challenger, and one of the things I did is I did this. So I took the Challenger and I put the outside set of wheels kind of parallel with this car and hit. And as you see, you bang and you stop. And the reason for this is because one of the reasons why I don't use this is a combine I often use with a 45-foot header. You can't use this style of double wheel or triple wheel tractor with it as a hauler for big heavy trailers, because you can't get past the header because of the wheels. The wheels basically hit the header and you can't go past. So we can't really try it with this one because it's a single wheel variant. But this guy is a double wheel variant, and in theory what should happen is this: you come up to the car and it stops, and it does. But one of the things I noticed when I was doing it, it does this. So unless you hit it at a certain point, whereas with that Challenger, no matter where you hit it on the wheel, you will actually stop dead. But with this, there's a good portion of that wheel which will clip through the item. And you know, basically we did this with the Challenger. Look, there we go. I wonder if we can do this with the Challenger. There we go. It's basically when you sort of start to clip into the kind of the you see, we're clipping through. Not very realistic. It does mean that you could probably use that against one of those larger headers, but it's kind of weird. You clip through. Same applies for the triple wheel variant. We do that here. Let's get back into view. So let's kind of take this over here, take it to a car. Now with this one, it's actually even more pronounced because basically it is literally I think it's both sets of wheels will go through. Yeah, you get a clip through on both sets of wheels. So, you know, that's kind of weird. So one of the things I want to test on this other one, which I haven't actually done yet, is how does this do it? Let's have a look. So let's try seeing if thing. It's a bit crowded in front of there, so let's do it with one of these cars. So we're definitely, when we start to get the body work involved, it will not clip through. It does clip a little bit, but it's not as bad. It is actually, maybe. It is at least half that of the wheel. So these do clip through. Oh well. But I do like this one, although the top speed is lower. I do like this. It's a much nicer looking version of the Big Bud. So if you know you've got a PC now and you're playing Farming Sim and you want the big a big bud tractor, you can get it. If you were going to get it out of these two mods, I would get this one that I'm driving currently. I think it is a little bit cooler. It looks less bling. It looks more modest, which is really what this tractor is about. It's about, I think, the Big Bud tractor is a modest tractor. It's not about fancy GPS. It's not about you know, the latest modern technology in a tractor like you have with the Challenger and the like. This is about a workhorse tractor that basically is designed to work the fields and do it in a big field in a big way. Essentially driven by non-flashy, non-showy farmers, guys who basically work the fields. So this one is more, I think, in keeping with that. I do like some of the visuals on this. I mean, you know, look at the drive shafts there. That looks cool in the middle. The articulation of this is very pronounced. You know, if you look at the Challenger, let's take a look at this Challenger, for instance. You look at, this is an articulated tractor. Oops. You look at it from the side. Yes, you have your drive shafts and so on, but you just got one. And the articulation is, you know, it's very kind of technical. You've got your, you know, you've got almost like your fly-by-wire system going through there. You've got your kind of fancy cab on like cushioning and all this kind of stuff. You know, you just look inside this, it smacks of high tech, right? You look inside that Big Bud, and it's basically that is a minimal inside thing. You know, this one is a high-tech beast, and this beast is a kind of not high-tech but not low-tech either. This is a functional tractor. You know, the edges of this are square and sharp and so on, whereas that one, they are very much curved and sleek. So the design of these, so one of the things I did on my last video that I kind of cancelled was I stuck a bunch of equipment on the back. I'm not going to do that on this because I don't think we need to, but basically these are big tractors to haul big things. As you can see, at the moment there aren't very many big pieces of equipment that this would be perfect for pulling. You know, you've got your plow, you've got your big seeder from Amazon, you've got your Salford plow, and you've got your all-rounder cultivator. Those are the kind of things that this thing would pull, the big things. But it does look nice. One thing I did notice actually about this, I know they've got the antennas and everything else. They are nice. These, but I think I definitely prefer the other variants. So both of these mods, I'll put the details for downloads so you can check them out yourself in the description. This is a Big Bud mod for the KT-450. There's two of these. They both have a different style. This one is very much more modest, less bling. That one is more bling, and they both have sort of issues around clipping and a little bit of realism elements. But I think I personally prefer this one over the other one. It's definitely more modest and more sedate, and I think some of the detail in this one is slightly better. You lose, for instance, the engine detail in this because it's just a big black blob with some moving parts. This has sort of everything's grey. There's tones in here and texture, so you can see the piping. You can see, you know, you can literally see everything in here, whereas that one you definitely can't. So this one is definitely a nicer tractor here, and I do prefer this smokestack. It's a little less kind of odd. This one is thing. So there are little artifacts like a little knob there, but hey, it can't be perfect. So with that, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this mod review. I say the details for the two mods that we just looked at, implementing essentially the same thing, will be in the description. And with that, thank you and goodbye.